This is us. This is me, Paul, and
me, Gary.
We're just doing a little extra thing after recording our last podcast of this little block of episodes to highlight a couple of things that we mentioned once or twice, particularly in the early episodes. So we thought we'd do a little show and tell for you here. Essentially, I referred to quite a lot a record that we had growing up, which I still have now. And I thought I'd show that off. And also Gary mentions a book of music as well that I had a version of when I was learning piano, and then Gary has bought a new version of not long ago, in fact, but both factor into our songs the Beatles gave away world. Anyway, so I'll go first anyway. Remember this, Gary?
I certainly do.
This is huge box set of superstars of the 60s and 70s from Reader's Digest, which our parents took the Reader's Digest. Mum certainly did, and I used to read those little Reader's Digest magazines, but I read the bits that had jokes on them, like laughter is the best medicine,
and
things like that. But I've always known this record box set to be in our house, and it's got such luminaries on it as it's 20 sides of records, 10 discs. The Searchers, Gene Pitney, Cilla Black. So I've got more Cilla there than I think I knew I'd had. Manfred Mann, The Hollies, Tom Jones, Sandy Shaw, Neil Sedaka, The Kinks, The Trogs, Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, Mick and Titch, Jimi Hendrix, The VGs, T-Rex, The Move, The Tremolos, Slade, Gary Glitter, Elton John and Rod Stewart. And I think all of them, one of my favourite things, a few of them little songs on here have got little asterisks by them, and it's the four greatest words in record production, which is electronically reprocessed for stereo.
Ooh.
So things that were originally released in mono that they've then produced bizarre stereo versions, which generally I think means going back to the original masters and just panning them left and right. As so many of those early 60s records did.
Because electric was involved, something was plugged in.
Yeah, electrically reprocessed. Yeah. But yeah, there's the guarantee.
Wow.
And we'll have a look there. So that proves that Reader's Digest Association Quality Control Department, and I think this was 1978 that they would have got this box set.
Right.
I think. Sleeve notes, copyright 1978. So this is the same pedigree as me. But what came with it, presumably if you bought the whole box set, is this bonus disc, Hits from the Mersey Era.
See, that I don't recognise as much, so it must have been tucked away somewhere. Was it in the box?
Well, I don't remember these records being on very often. In fact, when we were little, there wasn't much record playing going on, except until I discovered the Beatles.
Yeah.
And found that we had some records there. But this was one of the ones I remember because this has got a lot of text on the back there. But side A was How Do You Do It? Jerry and the Pacemakers. If You Got to Make a Fool of Somebody, Freddie and the Dreamers. So this is hits from the Mersey era, not from the Mersey region necessarily.
Right.
I love If You Got to Make a Fool of Somebody by Freddie and the Dreamers. It's brilliant. Do You Want to Know a Secret? Billy J. You Were Made for Me, Freddie and the Dreamers. Hippie Hippie Shake by the Swinging Blue Jeans. Bad to Me, Billy J. Kramer. Cruel Sea by the Dakotas, one of my absolute favourite all-time pieces of music. Ferry Across the Mersey by Jerry and the Pacemakers. A few electronically reproduced for stereo there. Side B has got Good Golly Miss Molly by the Swinging Blue Jeans. I Like It by Jerry and the Pacemakers. I'm Telling You Now by Freddie and the Dreamers. Little Children by Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas. That's a really good song. Hello Little Girl by The Foremost. You're No Good by the Swinging Blue Jeans. Really like that one. That's a really good song. World Without Love by, what did you call them? P-Dog and the G-Man?
Yeah, P-Dog and G-Man, yeah.
Ugh. And Lily the Pink. So that's where I got.
I remember Lily the Pink being on. We used to play that, didn't we?
Yeah, because it's great.
Yeah.
So this is where I got my first experience of a lot of these tunes that the Beatles gave away, and so that was what I was referring to a few times. Oh, you've just been.
I just hit a tambourine.
Thank you for that little.
Just to prove that I don't dislike them that strongly. I do own one.
You do own a tambourine.
That's getting in the way.
So what have you got there for show and tell, Gary? You've got.
I have got
a lot of people will recognise this if they're musicians.
Oh, sorry. The tambourine
we prepared really well for this, didn't we?
Causing chaos. The Beatles Complete.
Yeah. And so I had a version of that. I had the piano vocal version of that when I was learning piano.
Which is what this is.
And that's also, I thought you had the guitar one. No, you've got the piano vocal
The
version.
piano organ vocal edition. So exactly, I wanted exactly what we had, because this is basically my musical education in a book.
Yeah.
As far as learning piano and writing and songs. And
although annoyingly, most of them are in the wrong key, so you can't play along with the records.
No, but you can just sit there and kind of feel your way through most Beatles songs. You don't have to, I never used to follow the, if you look at kind of what it looks like, you see that they managed to squeeze every song pretty much into one page, with a couple of exceptions where it goes on to two, because it's mostly verse repeat coders and things like that. Very straightforward notation, but I never used to play that. It's got the chord. The main thing about this, which makes it important to me, is it's got the chords written above every bar.
Yeah.
So all you had to do was learn your triad shapes, your G, your major shapes, your minor shapes, and then start to learn your. This would help you to figure out what it meant when there was a seventh or a sus or something, or whatever, because you could see what that note was in the notation.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you could just have a go. You could just, even if you just hit chord,
just
sing song.
Just have a go.
Duh, duh. And so you didn't. I never really played it. I don't follow. Even now, I'll just sit and open this and just start playing the chords and singing to it, because that's all I want to do, really. And I love it.
I remember it being quite important because it has a piece in the very front of it by Ray Connolly, is it? Like an article about the Beatles to start with some photos.
Yeah, some great photos.
Some good photos in there, and a little bit of. So it wasn't just thrown together like that.
Yeah, there's a whole
section of background and a little bit of biography and stuff, which is really good. But what always struck me and the reason we're talking about it, of course, is that it was full of songs that I never found on any Beatles CDs, not CDs, LPs as it would have been, and tapes when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And that's why it's interesting, because essentially I think what they've done is they've basically clawed all the Northern songs stuff into one thing and just called it the Beatles Complete, even if they weren't Beatles performed. So Bad to Me, I think, is one of the ones in the start.
Yeah, World Without Love.
World Without Love.
There we go. Proof. World Without Love, which meant that I was convinced this was obviously a Beatles song. How could it not be? It's in the Beatles book, but only haven't heard us sing it, I think. Yeah, Bad to Me's in here as well.
Woman,
Goodbye's in here.
Goodbye, Woman.
Yeah. No, Woman's not in here.
Is it not?
No.
Well, perhaps they've been tripped up by the Bernard Webb
That's it,
credit. Yeah. Oh, I thought Woman was in there.
Goodbye's in here, definitely. Bad to Me's in here.
Yeah. I'll Keep You Satisfied's in there, I think.
Yes, it is.
I like the noise of a little tiger you just made there.
that wasn't me. That was this little tiger down here.
Well, you do have two little tigers in your house.
But yeah, the version that we had originally, which I've still got bits of, ended up in two sections.
Yeah,
with a few pages in between.
Death.
Yeah, so we had a section that went missing for a couple of years, so I never played anything beyond 1965 for a long time. And then the section that re-emerged with like everything from like Hello Goodbye and stuff onwards, and there was always a few pages in the middle that were missing. So it was great to get this new copy of it, because it's still in print. You still can get it brand new. It's not you don't have to.
It's also got some weird things in it, like Give Peace a Chance is in there, isn't it? And Ooh You and stuff like that. So yeah, some solo stuff essentially.
Yeah, the last song is Give Peace a Chance, which, as you can see, is just hammering the C major chord over and over.
Yeah.
So, with all the words in here. Did we think there's some strange words in here as well, isn't there? I think this is the one that says, on Me Mr. Mustard, saving up to buy him super clothes.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I'll check.
Please find. This would be a nice way to go out.
If it isn't,
you better be right now.
Then it's going to be a really strange thing for me to have made up. Page 278.
This is exciting.
Ooh. Well, this also doesn't have, like the old version, is all of your handwritten chords on top of it to what the key it should be in.
Oh yeah, I was a nerd. Sorry, I am a nerd. I also wrote down the settings I thought for my electronic keyboard. I had a Yamaha PSS 480, and so I chose my settings for each song rather than because I didn't have a drawbar organ to use the recommended settings.
Well, it doesn't say super close, I'm afraid to say. But this may have been corrected since the print that we had.
Well, now we'll never know because every other copy has been burned.
Says super clothes somewhere.
Stop saying soup clothes.
But yeah, it's a very good book, and I would recommend if you're just a very amateur piano player, but you can find your way around a few chords. This is a great way to still feel like you can play the piano and Beatles songs and just enjoy yourself. Or guitar, because as long as you know your chords, you can.
There is a guitar version as well.
Yeah, there is a guitar version. It's yeah, and then the other one that I know this doesn't relate to what we've just been doing, is your great big Beatles Bible book, which is like every transcription of it, which is obviously another. You move on from that.
Beatles
to that.
Complete Rock Scores.
Yeah, because that's
which has got lots and lots of errors in it with lyrics and things like that, but is all in the right key and more or less everything there. Great. So there you go. Anyway, there's a little accompanying thing, and also we can use our faces to say to you, have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you get all the Beatles goodies that you've asked for, and you can settle down and watch Get Back again.
Yeah, I'm doing that as we speak.
Well, you're not doing it as we speak because we're doing this as we speak, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, play games with me. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening from me and Gary. Obviously, we do appreciate it, and hope you've enjoyed all the stuff that's been happening. And we'll be back with the last couple of bits of songs the Beatles gave away, and then more stuff in the new year. So, Merry Christmas and a very happy Merry.
Happy Merry
Beatles, please.
Christmas.